Access to Democracy is made possible by donations from the following organizations. Thomson Reuters, a global company with expertise and insight to unravel complex situations in the areas of law, tax, compliance, government, and media. Their worldwide network of journalists and editors keep customers up to speed on relevant global events. Thomson Reuters, the answer company. The division championship Minnesota Twins are looking to go all the way to the World Series in 2024. Bolstered by inspirational shortstop Carlos Correa, a healthy Brian Buxton, and rookie phenom Royce Lewis, plus a pitching staff led by Pablo Lopez and an outstanding bullpen featuring Johan Duran, the Twins are the best bargain in the major leagues, and Target Field is the best venue in baseball. Sheridan Dulas & Kins, PA, a family and criminal defense law firm, has been serving clients in Dakota County and throughout Minnesota for over 40 years. Ranked a Tier 1 Best Law Firm by U.S. News and World Report every year since 2009, Sheridan Dulas & Kins are here to help you in your most difficult life circumstances. Established in 2007, 45th Parallel Spirits was among the first 50 micro distilleries in the United States. Based in New Richmond, Wisconsin, all aspects of production occur at our facility. If you're interested in visiting and learning more about the 45th Parallel Distillery, please check our website and plan a visit to tour our facility and taste our spirits. Truestone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Truestone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at truestone.org.
This is Access to Democracy. Welcome to the program and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Bill Raker. Today we're welcoming into the studio for an interview on Access to Democracy a Burnsville City Council Member, Dan Gustafson. Welcome to Access to Democracy.
Thank you for having me, Bill. I appreciate being here.
Well, it's a delight to have someone of your stature who's been serving in the community for quite a while. And we want to learn about your experience as an elected official and some of the challenges that cities are facing these days. But tell us, when did you first get interested in politics or in a public service career?
Well, it actually happened in 1976, and I was in a place called the King of Clubs in northeast Minneapolis, where the Minneapolis City Council hung out. And one day Louis DeMars was in there and John Darris and all those guys, and I looked at them and I said, so how do you get involved in all this? And they looked at me and said, you just did. And the next thing you know, I was on Walt Diggy's campaigning for alderman, and that got me the bug.
And you've been going at it ever since?
I didn't. I did it that year. I was part of that whole campaign with the Mondale became vice president and all that happened. And then, of course, I started having a family, so I kind of backed off for my career and my family. But it never left me that I wanted to be part of it. And so when I got older, my youngest daughter got into high school, I said, I got some time now. And so I jumped into it and decided to run for the Burnsville City Council in 2004.
Well, I was going to ask when you were first elected to the City Council in Burnsville.
Yeah, it was
2004.
2004, and I told some friends I wanted to run, and one of them was Glenn McKee, I think you probably know.
I remember.
And Glenn looked me right in the eye and said, you're going to lose. He says, but you'll have to run a couple times. And I ended up winning. I woke up that morning going, oh boy, what did I just do?
Yeah, what just happened,
Yeah,
right?
what just happened, Jess.
Yeah. So with all those years of service, tell us some of the things that you have experienced that you think maybe someone who isn't in public service wouldn't know that someone in a city council role would endure or experience. Can you think of something?
Well, there's lots of experiences. I'm 20-some years in the city council. You have people that are very happy with you. You have people that are very angry with you. I will say some of the things I've learned over the years in city councils is patience. You have to have empathy with people, and you have to be willing to compromise. And we need a lot more compromise these days.
Well, that's a good segue into a question I wanted to ask you, Dan. What attributes, what skills does a good city council member need to have?
Well, I think I kind of said that in the beginning here. It's just you really need to be open. You have to just listen, and you want to look at all sides, and you want to look at the facts. You got to go through a lot of not good information sometimes, even fake information that comes out. And I hate using that word, but it takes time. It takes time, and you need to talk to people. You have to be open to talking to people.
So as a city council member, what are some of the reliable sources of information and valid perspectives that you look for and that you get?
Well, I mean, we depend, because we make policy for the city, we really depend on our staff and other agencies to give us good, valuable information so we can make good decisions. But then you weigh that against your neighborhoods and what the needs of the neighborhoods are and whether neighborhoods want certain things to happen or not. And sometimes you'll do something in a neighborhood that the neighbors aren't real pleased with in the beginning, but overall it's good for the city as a whole in the long term. And so there's lots of different, you gather a lot of friends along the way that will more than happy to advise you.
Sure.
but you know, you learn to trust a lot of those people and to get their opinions. And I look for people's opinions quite often.
So when you first ran for the city council, there was an environment, there was a situation with the city,
Mm-hmm.
and that may have been an impetus to run for the council. But when you ran in that election and the last election that you ran in, what's the difference? What are the big changes that you've seen over that period of time?
When I ran in the election in 2004, the big thing, as you were aware, because you had a business over in Burnsville, was the heart of the city. And there was a big push against the heart of the city. I remember knocking on doors and people would ask me all the time, well, what are your thoughts about the heart of the city? And I'd always say, it really doesn't matter because it's getting built. What we have to figure out is how to make it work. And that seemed to get people a little more on board. The environment today, as we do things, our population has changed a lot since when I first moved to Burnsville in '95. It was still the population that had been there for quite a while. Well, we've been turning over quite a bit, and now people are looking for development and they're looking for growth and that sort of thing. So when we announce certain things, we get people on board a lot better than we used to. And I think just because we've changed and we've transitioned from what people would consider Burnsville was a bedroom community to we're a city. I mean, it's got 65,000 people. We believe there's probably more like 67,000 over there. And a lot of our demographic has changed economically and with diversity, with different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, and that sort of thing. And so the needs have been changed over the years as well.
So one of the things that was a really contentious issue, I think, when the heart of the city was being developed was the Performing Arts Center.
It was.
And now it's the Ames Center. And it's a highlight of the city of Burnsville.
It is.
I mean, it brings people from all over the country, maybe the world, to some of the events that are hosted there at the center now.
It does, and that's actually an example of when we were doing the Ames Center, which was the Burnsville Performing Arts Center at the time. As you know, there was a group that was pretty vocal about it and pretty well organized about not building it. And today, a lot of that same group, when you talk to them, they're happy we built it. They weren't happy how we built it.
Oh, they're proud of it.
Yeah, they were
right?
proud of it. They weren't happy how we did it, but they were happy that it got done. And just so you know, that thing's paid for next year. The debt will be paid off of that building. So I never thought I'd see the end of the debt on it.
That was a big deal that many of the people of the community didn't really agree with, is that the cost of building it and going into the debt to do it.
Yep.
But it has certainly added to the community quite a bit.
It was a $20 million project. Today it'd be a $100 million project.
So keep it going.
Yeah, we are.
It going.
We're going to keep it going.
Yeah. So one of the first big events that was sponsored there was Art and All That Jazz.
It was.
And is that still going on?
No, actually, we ended it last year, unfortunately. Sponsorships were getting tougher and tougher for us, and I've been doing that festival for 20 years. And
yeah, you were one of the founders, or the founder.
I was the founder of that.
Yeah.
I remember I was at the dedication of Nicollet Commons Park in 2004, and I stood there looking around the park, and I went, this would be a great place for a nice little jazz festival. And so I went and talked to the park department at the city. I wasn't on the council at that time. And they said, yeah, we built the park for things like this, so if you want to do it, let's do it. And so I got some people together, and in 10 weeks we put the first festival together. And we had 1,800 people show up.
Well, Burnsville was doing jazz festivals before many of the other communities around the area were doing them, and they're all doing them now.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But a little story about the festival, if you don't mind. It's we were trying very hard to get 100.3 Smooth Jazz on board with us that first year, and they wouldn't budge. And so we got a hold of them in that winter and asked, how do we get you guys to be sponsors of this thing? And they said, well, bring in one of the artists that we play. And so they said, well, he said, send us your playlist and let's see what we can find out. And we found a gentleman called Nick Coleone out of Chicago and brought him in. And as luck would have it, Carolyn Peterson was an on-air personality for 100, and she lived in Burnsville. And she got a hold of us and asked if she could get on our board. And for every day for 4 months before the festival, every time she played Nick Coleone, she'd talk about him. And we went from 1,800 people to 7,000 people the next year. And then we brought Nick back one more time, and we went to 15,000. So it grew really fast.
I think I had a front row seat.
You did have a front row
Nick,
seat.
was the guest.
I have pictures of you in the front row.
Well, it's a great thing that you did for the city for 20 years with that festival. It's too bad that it's past its time now, and maybe something else will be brought in to be a highlight.
Oh, something's going to take its place, I'm sure of that. We're, in Burnsville, we're a lot about festivals over there between the Burnsville Festival, which used to be the Fire Muster, and our International Festival, and Party on the Plaza. We do 3 of those a year now. In fact, we just had one last night, and there were several thousand people there. And it's free for our citizens, and it's music, and it's food trucks, and it's vendors for selling merchandise, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, Dan, I have to congratulate you on anticipating my questions, because I was going to ask you, what are some of the things going on in Burnsville this summer, maybe this fall and this winter, that you wanted to tell our viewers about?
Well, those are 3 of them. In fact, our International Festival is actually next weekend on the 19th, and so there'll be music from all different countries all day long, and then we'll end that night with Salsa de Sol as our headliner in the evening. And again, there'll be displays from all the countries that are represented in Burnsville. And as you know, we're a very diverse community. And last I heard, I think we speak 80-some languages in our school.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So this is a cultural event.
Oh yeah,
right?
This is definitely a cultural event. It's all about celebrating us being together. And as you know, our tagline in Burnsville is "You belong here,"
Which fits.
And that's not just words for us.
Yeah, you live it.
Yeah, we do.
And so this festival is free,
It is.
right, for people to come in, and hopefully the weather's going to be good and they can enjoy a day out.
The summer's been good every time we've had something go on, so far, so here's hoping.
What are some of the winter events that are in the planning stages, maybe?
Well, the city's not planning too much in the winter events, but the owners of the mall, they're doing more things out at that mall all the time, and just so we get people calling us on the mall all the time, but they are working on it. They are starting to make some progress, so we should see some good things happening. But they're actually doing a lot of cultural events out at the mall too. So they do the Chinese New Year, the Hmong celebrations and all that are happening out there, and they bring tens of thousands of people out there for that. And
so there's a new Asian market opening up.
Yep,
there?
at the end of December, the Asian market and Asian food hall will be opening up, and it's going to be rather large, and we're pretty excited about it.
That'll bring new attention to Burnsville.
It's going to bring a lot of attention to it, and there's a lot of activity going on 42 in that area. The sad part about the mall, when they kind of failed, was everything else around that mall is thriving. It's very vibrant in Burnsville. It was just that mall area, but that happened to the whole country.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't just us.
Burnsville.
But bringing them back to life takes a lot of planning and doing new things, and a lot of mixed use. And we changed a lot of ordinances out there. So for mixed use, we took away the vertical height of buildings. So you want to build an 80-foot or 100-foot, 200-foot building to be our guest, you can do that. And we've opened the door for development, let's put it that way. And that mall is also a TIF district, which has not triggered yet because nobody's developed anything where the TIF would come into play.
So what are some of the development projects that are underway or planned for the Burnsville community?
Well, For anyone that comes to Burnsville or lives in Burnsville, construction is huge. We're replacing 3 bridges right now on 35W. We are changing the exit off of 42 and 35, which that's going to close down for a couple weeks here pretty soon. So when you come southbound on 35, where you would get off on 42 and hit the light, now if you're going to go west, you're just going to veer off and go left. And if you're going to go west, you're going to go over the 42 and do a roundabout down to the entrance of the mall, where you can either empty out into the mall or empty out or come back around on a roundabout onto eastbound 42. And so we're going to take care of that whole stop traffic light away from there. Then on Nicollet and 13, we'll be building an overpass there here starting next year, which is going to take Nicollet Avenue over 13, so we're going to eliminate the light over in that area as well. And we've got about 5 years of development going on, which is a real pain for everybody. You know, I live on the west side of 35 from the City Hall, which is 5 minutes from my house. It takes me 20 minutes to get there now because I got to do the
rerouting,
and everybody's rerouted. So
oh,
it's like,
yes.
so it's just long lines out there.
What about, you're talking about some of the projects that are related to transportation.
Yes.
What about housing or commercial developments? Anything in the works
there? Commercial development seems to be taking care of itself right now because of how we've changed a lot of our zonings. But the housing part I'm very proud of, because we put some programs together now for senior housing for people to stay in their homes. If you're a senior in Burnsville, you can actually get a low interest loan or no interest loan that you don't pay for 30 years. And so it gets paid when the ownership changes, so it helps people age in place if they want to age in place. If you're limited in your income and you have some issues, we also have grants for you to help fix up your house so that you can stay in place and in a quality home. And we just added another $400,000 to that, which we're actually finalizing next week. It was when the state passed that new sales tax for the metro area. That has to be used for kind of low-income housing, that sort of thing, and that qualifies. And so we kept our share of the money, and we're administrating those costs ourselves in Burnsville to help people stay there.
Well, the concept of livable communities as our population is aging,
right.
We realize that more and more every day. It's great to see that the city of Burnsville is taking some initiatives and looking at what those needs and opportunities are and doing something about it.
I'm very proud of our staff and council because getting on board with all this, because I think it's going to make a difference long term. I mean, I like to think we learned the lessons from other cities in the metro area that didn't take care of these things, and now they're trying to take care of it. And it's so much more expensive to fix it after it's broke than to kind of keep it up as you're moving along.
So the city of Burnsville is doing so well that it's outgrown its city hall.
We did. We have about a $93 million project that we broken ground on this year, and we're expanding our police department. We're expanding our city hall. It's going to be a very modern-looking building. It's going to be very environmentally friendly building. I'm proud to say we're a Step 5 green city, so we've been in the environmental market for a long time over there.
So when will this new city hall and police headquarters be?
It will be completed in 3 years. It'll be completed in 3 years, but the city hall part of it, at least the council chambers, will be open next year. So we have phases that we're doing it in. And right now it looks like we're building a really big swimming pool.
A big hole in the ground.
Yeah, big hole in the wall, yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
I'm sure it'll turn out to be another project that the city will be very proud of when it's all completed.
And the interesting part about that, we talked about the Ames Center early on. This was a $90-some million project, and the community just got behind it. We weren't getting any pushback on getting that done, and people were very, very proud of what was happening out there. And I think it's a facility that people will really enjoy, because we're putting a lot of amenities into it, as well as far as meeting rooms and spaces for our community to use.
So you used the expression that the community got behind it.
It did.
How important is the citizenry of a community being supportive and engaged with their local government?
It is huge. It's first of all, it gives us confidence in what we're doing when people are engaged, because we know that they're listening to what's going on in there, and we're getting feedback from them. there's not 5 of us that sit in a room somewhere and just make a decision and to say we're going to go do this. It's with talking to our citizens. And it's so important that people reach out, find out what's going on in their government, and come up with ideas. We're always looking for ideas. And, a few years ago, we just finished up a code review with our citizens group. And it was about a 2.5-year process. And I was the liaison for that, which was a lot of fun. But it's just going through all of our ordinances and talking, does this make sense anymore? Does not make sense? And getting the feedback from our citizens and from our legal and from our staff and coming up with some changes. And right now, we're getting ready in our planning department to go through what's called Title 10, which is our zoning, building codes, and all that other stuff. And they're going to be looking at all that to see, does that still make sense? And we're trying to modernize and simplify when you go into our website that you can actually find out how to get something done and what you can and cannot do.
So do you think younger people, and I'll let you and our viewers define what younger is, do you think younger people are interested in government, interested in politics, and want to be a part of it?
I think they are. I think it's providing opportunities for them to get involved. I know talking with some of our school board people, they're doing civics now again at the high school level, and which is, to me, civics and history, those they have to be taught. But they've got lots of young people that really want to get engaged and they want to be part of what's going on with government. Right now we have high schoolers on our Parks Board Commission, but I'm going to be talking to our council about getting them involved in more of our other commissions as well, because we need to get a youth perspective of what's going on. A lot of things that we're working on today, it's not for me. It's for our younger people that coming up. It's for our 30 and 40-year-olds coming up. And
so, do you have any advice to a young person who has an interest in politics or being involved with local government?
Get engaged with your schools, get engaged with the city, and there are ways to do that. You can get a hold of us, and we can certainly give you internships. We can get you doing all kinds of different things. If you know someone that's running for office, get involved with the campaign. Go out and help put out flyers or knock on doors and talk to your friends.
So for those people, young people, who are wondering, what does the city council do? There probably isn't such a thing as a typical council meeting. But share with us a little bit, if you can, how a typical council meeting may progress. What happens? What goes on?
Well, when you see the council meeting, it's the end of the process.
Okay.
Prior to that, we are involved in several meetings along the way with our staff and constituents about different projects that are coming our way or different policies we may be talking about. And we may have talked about something for 3, 4, 5 months. And it's all on the air. We televise everything in Burnsville, so it's out there. So it's when you get to the meeting, the typical part of the meeting is we pretty much know how it's going to go already, just because we've already talked it through so much, and we talk it through publicly. But a typical meeting is, of course, the Pledge of Allegiance, the consent agenda, proclamations, and that sort of thing, and then we go to our regular agenda, and then we take each agenda, and the different department heads will present those agenda items, and we'll discuss them, and then have a vote on it up or down. And
yeah, so
but it doesn't happen that night, just so people don't get that. It does not happen just that night.
So you didn't mention this term, but you kind of talked around it. The council has periodic work sessions.
We do.
Right? So what is a work session for a city council and staff?
A work session is ideas that are being thrown out that we'll discuss, and whether we're going to bring them forward and have staff work on them more, or table them for another time, or decide, no, we just don't want to go in that direction right now. And so in Burnsville, you'll find our work sessions usually last a lot longer than our council meetings do. Because it's an idea session, and so with that, then the back and forth, and we're pretty informal in those. So a lot of times, you raise your hand, the mayor will call on you at the end of a work session. At any time, somebody might blurt something out, but that's how it works. And
so, are those sessions open or public?
They're open, they're public, and they're televised, and we replay them on our television station as well.
And so, if anyone in the community was interested to be a part of that, they're welcome to come in and have input, have dialogue with you?
They are. Yeah. And we allow people to speak at our work sessions all the time. It gets kind of interesting.
Well, there are a lot of things about politics these days that are interesting, I guess one could say.
I'm surprised what people get upset about and not get upset about sometimes, to be honest with you. But that's what makes it interesting.
So what do you see a lot of people get asked, what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now?
Fishing?
There. You can't go wrong with that, can you?
Not sure. I'm not sure. It's we'll see if this is my last term or not. When I'm done, I'll be 76. So deciding whether I want to do another term or not will come later on in life. But right now, I like what I'm doing.
Young at heart and with a young mind. Yeah, right.
And I have fun doing it.
Well, Dan, what do you consider some of the bigger challenges with today's cities of the size of Burnsville, that may be challenges that you hadn't seen in the past?
I think one of the bigger challenges today, and this has been, I think, especially true since COVID, is public safety. It's been a big issue for us, and it's a growing concern for us in Burnsville, and that's police and fire, and keeping up with the times. We a couple of years ago we put into our behavioral health unit embedded into our police department now. So now we deal with people that they may do criminal things, but they're not really criminals. They have mental health issues, and so we have people that deal with that. The police have some training in that, but we have people embedded that have a lot of training in that. And then we have that in our fire department as well. And then we have behavioral health within the city itself for all of our employees now on staff, so that people can go in and get help. Because a lot of stressors in the world today.
Well, it's really critical to have the resources to be able to meet those needs and to deliver those services. Is the city fully staffed with all of the professionals that they need?
We're not fully staffed, and it's not because we haven't budgeted. We have. But in today's environment, people aren't choosing to become police officers as much as they used to, and they're not choosing to become firefighters as much as they used to. And so it's a big recruiting problem that we're going through. But we are hiring. We're getting there. One of the things our fire department does is they will actually send people through firefighting school now. So we will actually get people trained to take the jobs, and that's starting to pay off for us. And we are a full-time ambulance service there too, so we have our paramedics as well.
Important to the community.
Well, our response time is like 9 minutes or less with our paramedics, which is huge.
Dan, this has been a great conversation. We have about a minute and a half left in the program. Any thoughts, comments you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, get involved, pay attention, and vote. I can't stress how important it is that you get out.
Share that with us one more time, what you just said.
Get involved, pay attention, and vote. That's the best thing you can do for your community.
Well, Dan, that's great advice. I hope your interview here today has motivated some people to, pay attention to what's going on in the community, pay attention to what's going on with the government, and get involved and vote.
Yep.
Dan, thank you for being a guest on Access to Democracy. And thank you for joining us and watching Access to Democracy. There's more to be seen on accesstodemocracy.com and on YouTube. So be sure to check us out and become involved and engaged and participate in your community's government. Thanks again.